the desert, blue sand everywhere. Well, after the craziest, wildest drive down from Monument Valley to Kabob Lake, we arrived and this campground is fantastic.
It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's just what we needed. We endured a lot of wind. It was pretty rough few days. So, beautiful trees and a little lake. They can't see you though.
It was a white knuckle drive. Because the van's kind of tall, it's like a big sail, so we get gusts and blows it around. It's not as bad as it looks, but you still have. It's still, when you're doing this for hours, it kind of exhausts
Wears you out.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So when we found this place, we were pleasantly surprised on how nice it was.
And cool.
Yeah.
Out of the heat. It was really nice. And we were on our way. Going towards home at this point. Well,
this lake was definitely a place that I'd love to hang out and I could spend 2 or 3 days here. It's a nice lake for fishing, swimming. Monument Valley.
Well, I think it was like 87, 88, maybe close to 90 a few times, but the rocks make it feel so much hotter.
Yeah, it's like a heater.
It's like a heater. It's like that red dirt's a constant heat.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but it was.
It wasn't unbearable, though.
No, it wasn't unbearable, and it always is windy.
Well, when we were out, actually,
it cooled you off.
Yeah, when we looked at all the monuments, though, it was pretty nice. It wasn't really much wind.
No,
it was just enough,
to cool you off. Yeah. No.
And then in the middle of the night, we got all the screens open. In the middle of the night, I felt like a blast of cold air coming through the smallest window in the van, which is like, what the hell is going on? And then I look at the window. Okay, it's stormy, but the sun's shining.
It was
but
funny.
Everything's blown, and then the desert, blue sand everywhere. But this sandstorm, I feel like it's in my cameras, it's in my car, my van's engines, it's my lung, my glass hinge doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
nothing, everything's crunching from sand.
And it was really so gorgeous. But by the second night, we were like, we're out of here. Yeah. It was just too much wind. But then it was a constant wind. We had a windy day all day today.
And driving from Monument Valley to here we are in the outskirts of Flagstaff at a little lake with trees. And I've never been so happy to see trees in my life.
Yeah.
So I find this beautiful little lake where it's like we're like in heaven.
2 nights.
Oh, I thought, man, maybe I'll do some fishing here. And so the camp host comes up and says, oh, by the way, they're doing a controlled forest burn on the side of the lake. So at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, there will be helicopters and forest fires, smoke, and fire trucks.
So we'll be leaving.
It's like, you just never know what you're going to run into out here.
But this was nice. We had one night, so. Then on to Route 66.
Yeah. So now we're going to leave tomorrow and follow the old Route 66 to Kingman. Okay. This at one time was state-of-the-art traveling across the country. But I think people were traveling back in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. The cars didn't have air conditioning. It was hot. They went slower. And yet, there's a romantic quality to Route 66 that, you just got to get on it and try it. Now, there's long stretches of absolutely nothing, but it's kind of like that anywhere you travel out here in Arizona. But you'll come across some pretty cool little stops
Along the way.
along the way.
Yep. I love routes. I loved this part.
Yeah,
You just pretty soon will be in less population, and then you'll go along, and this little tiny town with a gas station and a store will pop up, and it's just really cool. You can just imagine all the travelers that came through there. And we enjoy the old cars because we're kind of from that era.
right.
So I love to still look at old cars. Anyway, this was a lot of fun.
And back in the day, this is Kingman, and we didn't have time to stop here. We will someday, but we do know that this is where Clark Gable and Carol Lombard got married in 1939. And back then, Hollywood had to get here the same way everybody else did. They had to get in their 1939 automobile and drive from LA to here, which is, it's 125 miles. No, I'm sorry. It's about a 6.5 hour drive in today's car with air conditioning going, 80. In a 1939 automobile with no air, it was definitely a lot of work, but the Hollywood people could get away from the cameras and the glitz and come out here and just hang out with regular people. And Clark Gable definitely liked coming out in this area.
You like to gamble, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He liked to play cards.
Be normal for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So that was fun.
yeah, so they got married there, and that's the story. So meanwhile, we're traveling along this long, desolate road, and it's still kind of fun. You're hoping to see something.
You can sing along to Route 66, but because of copyright problems, we can't put it in there. So feel free. Route 66.
Yeah, just keep it going in your head, because YouTube will get spanked if we play that song.
Yes, we will.
But we've all heard it. It was written back in, I don't know, I think it was written back in 1934 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was the song was written by a guy named Bobby Troop. Get your kicks on Route 66.
Yeah.
Originally sung by Nat King Cole.
That's a really great version of it.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they shut down Route 66 in the 70s when it was bypassed for the old interstate. And a guy named Bob Widmer, who was kind of a Route 66 artist, kind of rediscovered this area and started perking it up and getting people to come out here for tourist things. So this little gas station here, this guy lives in this thing. So you definitely get some interesting people that live in the desert. They're just people that don't want to be anywhere near the grid. They want to be left alone, and they live in trailers. They live in all kinds of odd things out here in the desert. But this was interesting to me because this is where this guy lived. But you can see he's a collector of everything from days gone by. He's even got the original tire changing tools, the gas pump. Gas was 29 cents a gallon. He's got those signs up. So that was a kind of a fun thing to see. So, now we're starting to get into a few more things, and then we find this place here. And this is a great souvenir shop, man. They got every kind of souvenir from the road that you can think of. And that was a really fun place to stop. And then when you walk around outside, they got old cars, old parts, garage. There's even a kind of a monument headstone kind of thing for
Troop.
Bobby Troop, who wrote the song. And
That was real fun.
it was definitely a cool place to visit. I totally recommend stopping here. What's it called? Hackberry General Store is what it's called. And you know, in a modern city, you might just drive by this thinking, what the
Swing it,
heck? But
Daddy.
when you've been driving for a long time and looked at nothing but cactus, you stop at every one of these, trust me, just because you need a break from the cactus. And you get to see all these old vintage signs and cars and old motorcycles. You name
Really
it.
fun.
It was really fun to see.
Just still sitting there. Lots of them out in the dirt.
Yeah, this was an old
Really
garage.
not
All the original tools and all that stuff was in there. It was quite interesting. It reminded me of being a kid and working on cars. They were so much different then.
Yeah. And go get your kicks on Route 66 because it'll be gone someday.
There's the Bobby Troop Memorial.
Yeah.
The longer you're in the desert, the more interesting things you see. Look at these old gas pumps here. It was a great place to stop.
It was.
And you see all the travelers come along and they put their sticker.
We
on the-
put our
on-
sticker here.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
sticker's up there.
Up there somewhere. Outdoors
Okay.
fun on the road.
There's our sticker.
Oh, you did take
Right
a
there.
picture of it.
So if you're coming through, make sure you see our sticker.
It'll probably be covered by then.
Yeah, somebody will put theirs over
Yeah.
it. But anyway, there's more places like this along the way. They all have some kind of backstory that you can look online if you really are interested. You know, what possesses people to go somewhere in the desert and start a business of any kind is, it's hard for me to wrap my brain around it, but they do it, you know, and some people just do what they like.
And they like
you know?
the solitude.
Yeah, they
I
like
think
the
it's
solitude.
yeah.
Look at these old vintage motorcycles, which this is like what we rode in high school. It was really fun. And then there's more.
Herbie.
Herbie Love Bug. This looks like it was a ride in a carnival ride at some time. And then this place. Oh. Another gift shop, fun stuff. They all have a little bit something different. Plus, it's a great way to just stretch your legs, right? So coming out of here now, we're heading up to Oatman, which was really the place we wanted to go. Is Oatman because I like ghost towns. This is a real life ghost town. There are 75 people that live there full time, and then a bunch of people work there in different shops and stuff. But this whole Black Mountain area was all mining, and there was a lot of little ghost towns in there that you can go explore. You can do some hiking.
It's Oatman Township. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I don't know the technical.
It's not a city, but it's like a township.
It's about 100
Mining.
Yeah, Oatman's about 125 miles from Las Vegas. So if you're in Vegas, you can make a day trip out of it. It's got a old-fashioned saloon and historic buildings and stuff like that.
Ice cream.
It's quite an interesting mountainous road getting to this place. Of course, mines are never conveniently located. They're always in some mountain or tunnel, or you got to go work to get to them. So it was pretty cool, though. You can see some remnants here. This could have been mining businesses. there's Oatman.
Oh, what's the most fun thing in Oatman?
Yep.
The donkeys.
I hope you like donkeys.
Oh.
Because this is the donkey capital of the world.
It's so much fun.
You can buy little alfalfa cubes to feed the donkeys. And they're very nice. They'll walk around with you.
They do remind you not to step in back of them.
Yeah, you'll see them kick a leg up once in a while. It's just what they do. That's how they communicate. Look, a little kick. There's a little kick right there. See? Don't be looking at my booty. That's what she said to him. Don't be looking at my booty.
Yeah.
It's like Yellowstone.
You can't
poor people.
yeah.
Poor people.
I'm getting over out of
these
the
are
way for
buffalo.
this truck to go by, honey.
These are desert buffaloes.
Oh, shoot. They were so
For a
cute.
small fee, Zoltar will give you a wealth of wisdom.
Zoltar.
What did I
So they got some bars there. They got like old mine shafts that you can go check out.
Look, they just walk. They walk into the stores.
Right.
They try to gently shoo them out, but they just walk in.
And their eyes are so soft. Oh, they have a Wild West gunfight
Slinger.
show. Fun.
No.
That's always fun to see.
Yeah.
And then, a lot of historic, how they lived, how they worked. A lot of those kinds of things that are always interesting to me. But, back in the beginning of this video, we were talking about Clark Gable. Now, legend has it is at the Oatman Hotel is where him and Carol Lombard had their honeymoon. And this is the suite they had their honeymoon in. The only issue is there's been a book published that says they drove home the day after they got married to Bel Air, and she gave a press conference to the news media announcing their marriage. And I looked it up, and yes, they gave a press conference the very next day, which was probably an 8-hour drive. So I don't see them hanging out here in Oatman, but who knows? Maybe they came back a few days later and had a honeymoon after their press conference. We don't know for sure. Still a good story either
Still a
way.
good story.
He did like to come to this town and just hang out and play cards. So maybe that was the room he always used. And I know a lot of people that got married and then didn't have a honeymoon for, sometimes 3 months or a year later. So they could have still had their honeymoon. Now, Sean and I, we just liked the donkeys. We just hung out with the donkeys. Yeah, so as we're leaving,
Yeah.
the donkeys, they're like panhandlers. Like they want your last little cookie, whatever you want to give them.
They won't move.
They'll stand there going, "Oh, aren't you forgetting something? Is there a little treat for me?"
I'll hurt you.
They just,
Oh,
oh,
here
yes,
comes the
there
other
is. And then next thing you know, they just keep coming, and they won't leave.
That is so cute.
Anyway, that's it for this video.
He's getting
All right.
We'll see you next
Goodbye.
time.
See you next time.